Howdy folks, I just ordered a ridiculous amount of CDs, so I figured I better do a collection update to at least get some of these caught up so I don't have to end up making an hour-long video. First up, we have Omega, the Prophet. This is a 2024 re-release from High Roller Records. High Roller Records always has the slipcase, usually has the slipcase, and the poster. Generally the poster is just the album cover. This one actually has alternative album cover on it. That was pretty cool. I think I might have opted to go with that one myself. So anyway, these guys are a new wave of British heavy metal band. This album came out in 1985. It was their only release. They had a demo before that. Then many years later, I think 2012, they just lyrics in this book. There may be a couple photos in here. There's a couple photos in here. Yeah, so it was released in 1985. Demo they had in 84. They released a split CD in 2012, which was actually just the last half of this album, split with a band called Apocalypse, which is also members of this band. I'm not sure if Apocalypse is still going on. But anyway, I had this on my want list for a while, a year. I like to collect new wave of British heavy metal bands. The more obscure, the better. I'd never heard of these guys. Very unique. It seems like all these unique, obscure new wave of British heavy metal bands I'm discovering as of late are all very much in the progressive vein, which is kind of bizarre because I didn't know there were that many progressive new wave of British heavy metal bands as far but you know, you got Saracen and Shiva, Omega, a couple others that I'm drawing a blank on. But anyway, this is really good. It's Black Sabbath meets Wishbone Ash with hints of Sad Wings of Destiny in it. The singer has a really unique voice. When he's singing in a normal voice, it's very similar to Mark Shelton from Manila Road. And when he gets gruff, he sounds very similar to when King Diamond gets low in his register. But it's really good. I enjoyed it. Omega, the Prophet. And speaking of new wave of British heavy metal, we have Pariah, the Kindred. I had this on my want list for a while too. I forget what year. Well, this originally came out in 88. This may be a 88 copy. Excuse me. So the band Satan, they originally had, I think the original singer's name was Lou Taylor. Brian Ross came on board. They released Court in the Act. It didn't fare that well, so Brian Ross left. They brought in Lou Taylor from the early Satan days, changed their name to Blind Fury, released an album, changed direction too. They got a little softer. That didn't really do anything. They bring in Michael Jackson, not that Michael Jackson. I'm not sure who Michael Jackson is, but he's one of those chaps on the back there. Don't mind the sticker. They bring in Michael Jackson and release Suspended Sentence. It doesn't do anything, so they change their name and direction again. They become Pariah. And now I kind of expected something along the lines of Blind Fury, which, didn't really float my boat. It wasn't. I mean, it was okay. It just wasn't as good as Satan. This one's really good. This isn't new wave British heavy metal. This is pure straight thrash, and it's really well done thrash. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much that I'm eventually going to get Suspended Sentence. Michael Jackson has a really good voice. I like his voice on this one a lot. So I'm eventually going to get Suspended Sentence, which I've never owned. That's Pariah, the Kindred. And let me throw this in here because I was going to do this one first and I skipped right over it. My rare cassette purchase. This is Scorpion Child. If you didn't see my review on their new album, which was called I Saw the End as It Passed Right Through Me. This was a promo for that album. They sold these cassettes on their European tour in 2024. I Saw the End as It Passed Right Through Me. It was just released a couple months ago, 6 weeks ago. So I saw this. I don't buy cassettes. I think I bought one cassette last year. I may have bought one cassette the year before that. But if I see one that's kind of a curiosity, I'll grab it. And I saw this one, and the guy was selling it for with shipping the same price that Scorpion Child's Bandcamp page was selling this, minus the shipping. So I was like, well, that's a pretty good deal. Snag it, hold on to it, see what becomes of it. It's got 3 songs from the if it would have just been 3 songs from the album, I probably wouldn't have messed with it. But it has Outliers and Wired Corpse from the album, and then the song on here called See, which is actually the song See the Shine off of their album, but this one was recorded live at the Lost Well. So you do get a live track on here. Alright, back to the CDs. I meant to start off with a cassette to begin with. We have going from new wave of British heavy metal to new wave of traditional heavy metal. This is Wings of Steel. I believe they're based out of Los Angeles. The singer is from Sweden. It's basically 2 guys. There's 3 guys on here. You have the vocalist Leo Undermark, guitars and bass Parker Halhoub, and drums Mike Mayhem. I believe it's Parker Halhoub's band. And I think the 2 main members are the singer Leo Undermark. Here we go here. So I found out about these guys. I'd heard the name, but then on Sea of Tranquility, it may have been their new wave of traditional heavy metal primer show. They were talking about the live album that they released in 2024. This is an EP from 2022. So they released a live album in 2022. I'm sorry, the EP in 2022, a studio album in 2023, and then the live album live in France in 2024. So the Sea of Tranquility, they were talking about how good the live album was. So I was like, well, I'll check it out. And the studio album from 2023 was cheaper than the live album from 2024. So I bought that. I dug it. I liked it. I saw this EP on their Bandcamp page for a cheap price. So I decided to get it. And to try and not make a long story short, I was in the process of moving when I ordered this. And when you order Bandcamp stuff, it's a lot of the times it's coming from the band themselves. So you don't expect it to show up in a couple of days. I usually give it, 3-4 weeks before I even start looking for it. Like I said, I was in the process of moving, but it had probably been about a month, and I hadn't received this yet. So I was like, let me check on that. So I checked the tracking number, and the tracking number said that it had been delivered to my house 3 days after I bought it, and I never received it. The mailman has totally screwed up my mail. The people who used to live here's mail. The mail at my old address, it's a giant mess. He still hasn't got it right. I'm still not getting mail forwarded from my old address, and mail that's supposed to come to me is getting forwarded to the people who used to live here. So anyway, I do a lost mail requests with the post office, and I just notified Wings of Steel, and I was like, hey man, I didn't get this. I don't know if you'll be contacted by the post office in regards to my lost mail request, but I'm just giving you a heads up that I lost it. And Parker Lube immediately responded to me and goes, don't worry about it, we're going to send you another copy. And they did. 3-4 days later, this one showed up. No questions asked. I thought that was awesome. I appreciated it very much. Great album. The singer has got pipes for days. And the band's really tight. The albums are really well produced. I mean, they sound like seasoned professionals. I'd say they're kind of in the Priest mode, but very much speed power metal in U.S. power metal. Good stuff. Check them out. Wings of Steel. If I didn't say, their full-length album was called Gates of Twilight. A really good album, and from 2023, and then their live album was called Live in France. And now for something completely different, we get Hey Hello. This is a band featuring Ginger Wildheart of the Wildhearts and a girl called Victoria Ledke, I believe. I can't read. Basically, if you know who the Wildhearts are, Ginger Wildheart, that guy's a genius. There's a little poster came inside. Lyrics on the other side. So when he's not doing the Wildhearts, he has all kinds of different projects, solo stuff, dipping his toes in all kinds of different music. But it's always great because he's always the one writing the songs, and the dude is phenomenal. And on here, he plays bass, drums, guitar, and sings. And he, I guarantee, he probably wrote all the songs too. So if you know who the Wildhearts are, this is like, take the poppiest songs by the Wildhearts and then add in a female co-lead singer, and that's what you get here. So it's really good stuff, really enjoyable. Hey Hello, I believe they may have another album out, but this is their debut, self-titled debut, Hey Hello. And for the piece de resistance, we have Iced Earth, Dark Genesis. Now we were talking on Sea of Tranquility, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember if they did an album ranking on Iced Earth, or Iced Earth was being talked about. And so it got me looking into more. My slipcase is a little dinged up, but the actual inside case is in really good shape. So I just was looking up Iced Earth stuff, a whole bunch of band history here. Trying not to thumb through every single page here, but there's a pretty expansive booklet in here. Then you get the last one there. Just lost a little tooth out of the CD set. So anyway, I was looking and I saw this thing, and it's got it's got the demo, the debut, Night of the Storm Rider, Burnt Offerings, and then the Tribute to the Gods, the covers album. So I was like, oh man, this is a really cool package. And I only had Night of the Storm Rider and Burnt Offerings. So in my mind, I'm like, well, let's see. This thing was like $35 maybe. And I was like, it wasn't brand new, obviously. So I was like, well, you know what? Let me buy that. I'll sell my copy of Night of the Storm Rider and Burnt Offerings. I'll get close to $35 for those two. And then I get 3 new CDs. So that's what I did. And I've already forgot the names of the other singers. And I wanted to make, because I did want to, I know the names, but I don't want to screw up who's who. But let's just jump to the chase and say that I enjoyed them all. I didn't get on board with Iced Earth because even when I heard about them at the time, you know, I didn't get on board with them for one reason or another. And then they changed singers. And then they changed singers again. And I'm just like, yeah, man, I like bands to kind of stay consistent. So I never bothered checking them out until much later on when, you know, you just keep hearing about how great they are. But, so yeah, the first disc is disc 1, Enter the Realm. It says demo. It doesn't sound like a demo. Was it remastered for this release? I don't know. But it's Metallica with Paul Bailoff singing. Maybe not as annoying as Paul Bailoff annoying. I'm not a big fan of Paul Bailoff's vocals. And then Iced Earth, kind of the self-titled debut, that kind of follows in the same vein, except it's very Metallica influenced. I mean, it's Master of Puppets and Justice for all over it. And then John Schaefer wanted to expand the band sound. So he asked, golly, I can't believe I can't think of the dude's name. He asked the singer, the original singer, to take some vocal lessons to do Night of the Storm Rider. And he didn't want to do it. He was offended that he was asked to take vocal lessons. I'm sorry I'm reading this shit, but it's really driving me insane that I can't remember their names. Gene Adam. Now he was the first guy, wasn't he? Yeah, Gene Adam. And he was, you know, Schaefer wanted to do some more expansive stuff on Night of the Storm Rider. He didn't think Gene could handle the vocals duties. the way he wanted them held. So he asked him to take some singing lessons. The guy refused and walked. They brought in another singer. And I can't friggin' remember his name either. I kept wanting to say Eric Adams on the other one, which I knew that was wrong, but alright, I'm giving up. I'm boring you to death trying to find this. But anyway, Night of the Storm Rider. And then after that, there was some falling out there too, and then Barlow came on board. Gave us burnt offerings. Like I said, I was a fan of Night of the Storm Rider. I actually preferred it to burnt offerings. My opinion on that may have changed after listening to this. And I had never heard Enter the Realm or the debut, and I thought both of those were really good too. So I was very happy with my $35 purchase. Now, if some of you will just go on Discogs and buy my copies of Night of the Storm Rider or Burnt Offerings, then I can make back some of my money. Alrighty. Sorry for you getting lost in the weeds there with the iced earth. It was just driving me crazy. Alright, you guys have a good one.